I think for me, it has to be Miami. I think that was like as a point where everything started to shift. I mean, I'm not saying about the drivers' battle. I mean, you look at the stats, and actually, really, it never got much closer than it did in the first few races of the season. But at Miami, that was the point. It was just like, after coming off the back of, I want to point it out again because I pointed it out last year. I'm going to point it out this year. The Red Bull last year had the most dominant car of all time. 95% win rate, even better than the McLaren MP44. And as you say, in February, we're sitting there and thinking, oh, is it going to be like this again? And then we go to Miami, we get a new winner that's not just off the back of a failure for Red Bull. And that's the point where you start to see the points they're getting per race. And, that's where you start to see the sort of sure-footedness of Red Bull start to fall away as the performance of the other teams just starts to come into its own. That's really the point for me where we started to realize, oh, okay, this is going to be much more of a fight, and I think the season got a lot more interesting because of that. Otherwise it did seem like like Red Bull had all the cards, but from that point onwards, I think that's what leads up to that's what leads up to the battles that we saw in Great Britain or the various wins for Ferrari over the season at very important points for Ferrari. Yeah, I think it turned the season from potentially like a repeat of one of the less interesting ones to much more interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. It injected some real life into the season at a point where it really needed it. Because, like you say, Owain, it was looking like another Verstappen Red Bull runaway. But Norris's victory there was some fortune to it. But, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. And let's say Lando was owed a little bit of luck for a victory after Sochi in 2021, where he was a bit unfortunate with the weather on that day. But, things come back around and they help you out on a different day. So, yeah, McLaren did a brilliant job that day to really inject some life back into this season.